I'm late, but I was waiting for my phone to charge up before I did this. So just bear with me. Also, I probably will omit AEW from my official review today. I probably won't be reviewing AEW, just so you know. But let's get on with it. Hey, Aaron, I just saw you. Thank you for being here. And obviously, if you want to hit that like button, feel free to do so. Never required, but I do appreciate it. Let's start off with Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, obviously, we started out with CM Punk. We started obviously with it was CM Punk and AJ Lee entering the building with Becky Lynch. Backstage, obviously, she saw AJ Lee and was not happy at all. Thanks. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate that. Let's get that like. Let's hit that like button and let's get it to at least 5 before the end of the live stream. At least 5, hopefully. We got obviously the show officially started with a with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch opened the show. Obviously, she wanted to talk about Royal Rumble. She wanted to talk about her reign as Intercontinental Women's Intercontinental Champion and decided to talk about AJ Lee a little bit before AJ Lee eventually decided to interrupt, but not because of Becky Lynch. She was there only because she was there to support her friend Maxine in her match against Natty later on in the show. They then started to talk about the women's intercontinental champion, and obviously that led to him talking about bringing up the last time that she beat Becky, the 2 times she's beaten Becky, both making her tap out at WrestlePalooza and then beating her inside War Games, which in AJ's mind named her the number one contender for the women's Intercontinental Championship, which Becky repeatedly said no to, no, 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 and so AJB decided, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe I'll just go home. Maybe I'll just go back to Chicago. Oh, and then Becky, for whatever reason, decided, I'll give you a title shot. So, and so now we officially have a match. A match besides the Elimination Chamber matches. We now have a Women's Intercontinental Championship match at the Elimination Chamber. Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. This match should be good. This should be good. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Bye. Bye. After this, we got a video package for Roman Reigns and CM Punk. This match, obviously, it's been made official as the main event of WrestleMania 40. It's been made official as the WrestleMania 42 main event for night 2, which honestly, this match deserves to be the main event of night 2. And it is what it is. We got. It was a good promo. We also got a promo, or got a video package. Hey, thanks, Austin. Thanks for that. For that, I do appreciate that. I do appreciate it very much. And we also got a video package for Rhea Ripley. Obviously, she had an Elimination Chamber qualifying match later tonight as well versus Lyra Valkyria and Ivy Nile, American Made. That is what we would get. But first, we would get the Usos versus Alpha Academy for the World Tag Team Championships. This match lasted about 12 minutes. Not bad at all. Except for one moment where Jey Uso would just seemingly botch a super kick and it didn't even hit Otis at all. It didn't even connect with Otis, and Otis still sold the move as if he had been hit with a super kick, which clearly did not happen. And excuse me just for a second, I'm seeing something that I need to squish. Oh. Well, it's a bug on the window, but apparently it's on the outside, so don't have to worry about it. Thank goodness. Yeah, this match was okay. Only that was the only major moment in the match that was bad. Other than that, it was a decent match. Alpha Academy will probably go back into catering for the remainder of this month. Yeah, it is what it is. We also got a recap for last week. Okay, bear with me, guys, for a split moments, split seconds. Oh yeah, we got a recap of the women's Tight World Championship match from last week, that being Raquel Rodriguez versus Stephanie Vaquer, in which Raquel actually lost the match despite interference from Liv Morgan. That backfired, apparently. That backfired. Obviously, we didn't get a segment involving Raquel, Liv, and with Dominic Mysterio, and of course Stephanie, Vaquer, who obviously wasn't happy about Liv hitting Oblivion on her last week. I'd be pissed off too. This then led to Vaquer speaking in Spanish, with Liv wanting Dom to translate. Dom was like, I don't know if I actually should. This then obviously led to Vaquer slapping. I think it was either Dom or yeah, she slapped Dominic. So yeah, that's how that ended. We then get an Elimination Chamber qualifying match for the ladies. Rhea Ripley versus Lyra Valkyria versus Ivy Nile. This was a good match. Went about 13 minutes. Rhea won this match as I assumed she would, as I knew she would. And now she is in the Elimination Chamber match. I can't remember if anybody else has been already qualified. I can't remember. But hey, it's okay. We got. Now, after this, we were supposed to get a CM Punk interview with Michael Cole, yet Finn Balor decided to interrupt because it wouldn't be normal for someone to just have a segment on air and have it not be interrupted by somebody else. Because it's the way it always that's the way it has to be. That's the way it has to be. Everybody just has to interrupt everybody. But else it's not okay. But yeah, I get it. It's nice. We got, obviously, Finn Balor is not happy about CM Punk and the CM Punk and Roman Reigns match made official for WrestleMania, and obviously Finn wants another title. He basically demanded that CM Punk come out, and he did. And they went back and forth, and then Adam Pearce, and they wanted the fight, and they wanted to have a match, but Adam Pearce is like, actually, and Adam Pearce was like, no, This is not happening. I'm not signing off on this match. I'm not jeopardizing the main event of WrestleMania. But then CM Punk told Adam Pearce, oh, okay, well then here's here's what I'm gonna tell you right now. If you don't make this match official, then you're gonna have to try and stop me from running all over this building just to get my hands on him. So obviously knowing that Adam Pearce does not want full-blown chaos on his show, which he's obviously had problems with as of late. He decided, okay, I'll sign off on the match. And so now we have four, and now we have pretty much the official Elimination Chamber card set, that being the two Elimination Chamber matches for the men and the women, women's IC title match, and the World Heavyweight Championship, Finn Balor versus CM Punk in Chicago. I kind of expected CM Punk would be on that show at Elimination Chamber and would be on the show considering he's from Chicago. Didn't know how he was going to be on the show, but hey, this is nice. 6 likes. Yes, thank you. Thank you guys. They got Logan Paul backstage with Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is very much hoping that the Vision don't interfere in the main event match, which is to be an Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Penta, LA Knights, and Austin Theory. Logan Paul basically taunts Adam Pearce by saying, if we do interfere, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Basically, that's what he said. He said, what are you actually going to do about it if we do interfere? Oh, that's right, you're not going to do anything because the last time you did something and you were then forced to, quote unquote, retract, go back on what you did. You tried to suspend one of our guys, but then you were forced to bring him back after some mysterious person called you and basically forced you to bring him back and lift his suspension. Yeah. The Vision run Monday Night Raw, whether Adam Pearce wants to believe it or not. Then we got Finn Balor backstage with Dominic Mysterio. I guess they were in the Judgment Day clubhouse, and Dominic Mysterio wants Finn Balor to go back after the tag team titles with JD McDonough once he comes back. And Finn's like, Dom, no. I'm actually done. Normally, I would be excited about getting tag team titles back with JD McDonough, but I'm done going after the tag titles. I want to go after the world title. Dom basically decides to say, well, I'm sorry, man, but maybe your time's up. Finn did not look happy at all. I swear, if the end game of all this Judgment Day trauma isn't Finn Balor turning on Dominic, having him turn babyface, and potentially with Liv Morgan potentially turning babyface, I don't know where this is all going. But if Dom Mysterio versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania is not the plan, then I don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. We got the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raider War Raiders. Eric and Ivar, they were, I think, supposed to have a match. Not sure if they were, but obviously whatever they were supposed to do, they didn't get to do any of it because Obafemi decided, you know what, I'm just going to show up, wreck the War Raiders, and leave. Basically, he pulled a Roman Reigns because one of Roman Reigns' phrases that he would like to use, and obviously they put it on a T-shirt, and that's "Wreck everyone and leave," basically. And that's basically what happened here. Obafemi wrecked everybody in the ring, and then left. We then get Evans and a mystery partner of his choosing against Los Americanos, Ryo and Bravo, which we all know is Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Can't remember which one's which, but we all know that's who they are. If we don't already know by now. Obviously, Javon Evans' partner just happened to be the original El Grande Americano, which obviously is Chad Gable, if we don't already know that by now. Match lasted about 10 minutes, and it was really good, especially one moment near the end where I think it was Ryo was attempting a splash off the top rope. Javon Evans was on the other side, was on the opposite, was on the corner next, on the other corner of the ring next to him. Obviously, as Ryo came off the top rope, Javon Evans then came off the top rope at the same time, hitting a OG cutter from the top rope that looked to be about the best OG cutter I think Javon Evans has ever pulled off. And it was like, holy shit. And yeah, if WWE doesn't strap the Rocket to, isn't thinking about strapping the Rocket to Javon Evans right now, then they might as well start thinking about it, because this kid's definitely gonna be. He's only, I think, 21 years old, and he's definitely gonna be there for 20 years at least. He's definitely gonna be there for as long as John Cena and them have been there. At least that's what I think. And yeah, this kid's gonna definitely be special. And yes, Javon Evans and OG El Grande were able to get the win, with El Grande, the original El Grande, hitting the flying headbutt, which obviously is a Chad Gable move, and so that just further affirms what I believe, and what everybody else believes at this point. We got a backstage promo from Gunther, who promised to win the World Heavyweight Championship. He promised to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Well, the WWE Championship. And obviously, to do that, he would have to win the Elimination Chamber match. Chamber match. And so he has a Chamber qualifying match next week against Javon Evans and I think Dragon Lee, if I'm not mistaken. So hey, that actually should be a good match. That should be a good match. Don't know 100% sure, but that should be a good match. Then we got Bayley and Lyra. They were talking with Byron Saxton. Obviously, Bayley wants to go to WrestleMania and wants to win the women's championship, and also has an Elimination Chamber qualifying match this week. And I'm guessing that will be next week. Don't know who she'll be competing against, but it should be next week. But yeah, 7 likes. I appreciate it. Oh, I do appreciate the likes. Thank you guys. And yeah. Then we get the main event, obviously, LA Knight versus Penta versus Austin Theory. Obviously, for these 4 spots in the women's Elimination Chamber. In the men's elimination chamber, we got and LA Knight was able to win the match, featuring following interference from a masked man who took out Austin Theory, and then rolled Austin Theory into the ring. That allowed LA Knight to get the win. And so LA Knight is in the Elimination Chamber match. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to him. Yeah. And so that was it for Monday Night Raw. If I was to rate it, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It was good. It was good. So it is what it is. Now we got Tuesday and NXT. NXT was the first. This will officially mark the first NXT of the new. That we have a new NXT champion. That is Joe Hendry. He won the 6-man ladder match, or at least now it was a 7-man. It was originally supposed to be a 6-man ladder match. Jackson Drake and Joe Hendry were supposed to have a qualifying match to determine who was going to be in the ladder match. Obviously, Joe Hendry got taken out before the match could even take place. That led to then NXT GM Ava putting Jackson Drake in the match, but also letting him know that if Joe Hendry is cleared to compete, then he will be added into the match, and he was cleared, and so he was in the match, and he was the one to retrieve the briefcase. Just so you know, I didn't actually get to go live last week, so I'm glad I'm able to go live this week. But that match last week was pretty darn good. Obviously, it wasn't like the best ladder match I've ever seen, but it was still a very good match. 7 likes. Thank you guys. Let's get the likes. Let's get those likes up. But yes, Joe Hendry started off the show, obviously, as the new NXT champion. Obviously, he was interrupted by the Vanity Project, that being Jackson Drake, the guys that actually took him out, or tried to, or Jackson Drake, Ricky Smokes, and Brad Baylor. And yes, they confessed to trying to take him out, and it didn't work. So this then led to a brawl between all 4 guys, with Vanity Project taking out Joe Hendry. This then led to Robert Stone, who was the new interim GM, making a match official for the NXT Championship between Jackson Drake and the new champion Joe Hendry. We then get Zaruka backstage. Obviously, they were getting ready for the main event, which was to be a tag team match of Zaruka, Soruka, and Zarya versus Ren QCC, which is Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray. Now, this match had a rather unique stipulation, and it's that the person who gets the deciding pinfall or submission victory gets a shot at the NXT Women's Championship. So it doesn't matter which team wins. It's whatever person from the team, whoever gets the pinfall for that team, they get a shot at the NXT Championship. Rather unique stipulation, which I actually applauded because it was interesting to say the least. But obviously Zaruka, they're not on the best of terms, considering that Zarya is just so frustrated nowadays because Soruka always seems to get all the opportunities out of the two of them, and she is always left with nothing. I mean, yes, Soruka has given her, has let Zarya have some opportunities, but it just seems like Soruka, every opportunity that Soruka gives Zarya or allows Zarya to have, Soruka then gets like two more opportunities over on top of that. So she's just frustrated because she's not gotten any opportunities, and Soruka just seems to be getting every opportunity. Which this will obviously lead to a heel turn, and obviously the main event definitely gave me an indication of where this team is headed in the near future. The first match of the night, though, was Jada Parker versus Blake Monroe. This is Jada's first match on NXT television for a in a while. Apparently, she was injured. I didn't know that, but she was injured. She's back. She's healed. She's ready to compete, and this match went about 10 minutes, and eventually the match ended in a double countout when they just wouldn't stop brawling with each other outside the ring, which obviously you never want to see a match like that, a match end in a double countout. And it was actually going pretty good, and it was a pretty darn good match. Some people might say that the double countout sort of taints the match and how good it was, but I'd say it was still a good match regardless. But yeah, I didn't exactly like the double countout either, but it is what it is. Obviously, we then get Robert Stone. We then have a backstage segment. After this, we got a backstage segment with Robert Stone making the match between Jackson Drake and Joe Hendry official. Keanu Carver isn't exactly then comes into focus, and I'm guessing, and he was not exactly happy with Robert Stone making that match official. I guess he figures he should be number one contender for the NXT Championship. And I'm guessing at some point we are going to get him as the NXT champion. Who who he beats and who is the champion when that time occurs, when that match comes around and happens, I don't know. We'll see. We got After this we got a video package for Tatum Paxley, and this was very good. I'm not gonna lie, I did get a little bit of goosebumps from this because this was actually very good, and I thought it looked good. But obviously, she's not exact. She's still focused on Izzy Dame, and she definitely still wants another shot at Izzy Dame. Now, obviously, Izzy is now the current NXT Women's North American Champion, so that's obviously another reason to want to go after her, keep going after her, because she now has a title that that Tatum wants. So hey, we then also get a in-ring promo from Dark States, obviously regarding Tony D'Angelo, who has decided to target Dark State after being away for months and months. Months obviously because Dark State took his family away from him, or at least they were responsible for his family being torn away from him. So this then led to several NXT tag teams interrupting, that being Sean Spears, Nico Vance of the Culling, OTM, Hank and Tank. I think those were the three teams that actually wound up interrupting. This then led to a brawl. Also, I think we got Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor also out there. So this was the second time that we got Vanity Project on our screen. I think that's interesting. And then we got this and led to a brawl between all the teams. And then Tony D'Angelo comes into the ring and plants, I think it was James Cutler and at least one other member of Dark Stitches, I can't remember. But hey. And then we got Joe Hendry versus Jackson Drake for the NXT Championship. This was the third time in the show that we would see Vanity Project on the show. Must be a reason why Vanity Project is getting all this screen time. And I like these guys. They're young, arrogant, they're cocky as hell, and they're obviously perfect heels. They're basically perfect heels. And obviously, they're the perfect young heels that you would expect them to be. But yes, this was the third time that we saw them on the show. Obviously, Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor tried to interfere in the match on Jackson Drake's behalf, but didn't work out that way as the referee saw them interfere and decided to throw them out. Obviously, this ended Jackson Drake having to compete in the rest of the match on his own without any help or backup. Obviously, this led to him losing, which made which obviously was going to happen once the heel once his guys got sent to the back. I knew this was leading to him losing. Then again, I didn't think he was going to win the match anyways at first. So obviously, we didn't get Kalani Jordan. We got Lola Vice. We didn't get Lola Vice backstage. The match itself was pretty darn good. Lasted just over 12 minutes, and it was a good match. Congrats to Joe Hendry on his first title defense. And hey, Jackson Drake did pretty darn good for himself. We didn't get Lola Vice backstage. She's with medical personnel, and Robert Stone obviously she has a match next week against Kalani Jordan. Obviously Lola Vice is being very adamant that she's not going to give this match up, and forfeit this match. And so Robert basically tells her that, okay, if you think you can go, then I'll keep the match as scheduled. This then led to Kalani Jordan, doing a sneak attack and beating her up in the medical room, attacking Lola Vice's hand again, which was obviously targeted the previous week. So hey, there's that. We then go backstage again with, and apparently Keanu Carver has decided to turn backstage into a literal mess backstage. Taking out the lounge area and taking out a whole slew of superstars and backstage personnel, I guess. Yeah, this guy's going to be a problem, and I might be saying that in the best possible way. But then obviously we get Hank and Tank versus the Vanity Projects, Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor. The fourth time we've seen these two on the show. Again, I think these guys are pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Obviously, Hank and Tank, this was a very competitive match. Went about 11 minutes, and it was a competitive match. We got Hank and Tank losing this match, even though at one point it looked like they might actually win. But Jackson Drake, he had to come in and he had to come out and he had to tip the match in his boy's favor. So that's what happened. Congratulations to the Vanity Project on a big tag team win. And later on, after this match, Robert Stone decided that since Vanity Project was able to win this match against a team that is already confirmed to be in a number one contenders match next week, which is going to be the teams that were involved in that Dark State segment: Nico Vance and Sean Spears, OTM, Hank and Tank, and now Vanity Project. Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor will now compete in a fatal four-way match to determine the number one contenders for Dark State's titles. We also got another speed tournament match. Josh Briggs versus Eli Knight. Obviously, nothing really important to say about this match. Went 3 minutes, nothing special. Eli Knight wins. I like Eli Knight. Looks he looks pretty darn he looks pretty good. He reminds me a little bit of Javon Evans, and that may be what they're going for. But hey, congratulations to him. Also, we got a backstage segment with Ethan Page and Robert Stone. This led to obviously Shiloh Hill. Obviously, they were just there to just talk about opportunities for Javon for Ethan Page and his next a potential title defense. And descended to Shiloh Hill interrupting, and he was wearing a Friday, I think it was a Friday the 13th Jason mask, and had like a, I guess like a machete. I don't know if it was real or it was just a plastic one, but listening to Robert Stone telling Ethan Page, what about giving a Shiloh Hill a title shot? Shiloh Hill's like, great, yeah, I'd love a North American title shot. And so the match has been made official. I'm pretty sure it's next week. So who knows if Shiloh Hill will win his first NXT championship or whether he will lose. But it's an interesting match, to say the least. Then we get the main event. We got Ren QCC, Ren Sinclair, and Kendall Gray versus Zaruka with the person to gain the winning pinfall / submission victory gets a shot at the NXT Women's Championship. Doesn't matter which team it's a part of. But hey, in this match, Sol Ruka was the person to get the pinfall victory. So that means that she will get an NXT Women's Championship match in the coming weeks. And Zarya did not look happy at all when that happened. So I was like, this is definitely going to lead to her turning on Sol Ruka at some point, and it's probably going to end up happening the day of the match, the day of that win of the women's title match between JC Jane and Sol Ruka. But hey, I will not, and I'll give NXT this week a 7 out of 10. It was a very good show. They're never great, but at least with NXT, they are consistently good, which I think is great. Now, like I said, I probably won't be detailing Dynamite because it was not a very good show, in my opinion. So I'm just going to forego Dynamite today, and just go right into Friday Night SmackDown, which was a bit of a lackluster show. Not going to lie. We got Tiffany Stratton opening the show. She was excited about entering the Women's Elimination Chamber match for the second time in her career. She was in the 2024 Women's Elimination Chamber match in Perth, Australia. Obviously, she got interrupted, as always, by none other than Nia Jax and Lash Legend, for then being interrupted by Rio, that being Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Obviously, Lash Legend failed to qualify for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, Money in the Bank for the Women's Elimination Chamber match, in a match last week that involved Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green, who's now dealing with a pretty gruesome foot injury. I don't think it's too serious, but obviously she's still there. She was still there last night, as we saw in the backstage segment, in a wheelchair and a walking boot. Obviously, this then bled into the first match of the night, which was Nia Jax and Lash Legend versus versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Obviously, the tag team champions were able to win this match. They were able to win this match anyways. So, hey, congratulations to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky on winning their match. Match lasted about it went about 50, went about 10 minutes or so. Nothing too bad, nothing too bad, too serious. But it was a good match. Then we get Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. Yeah, Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes was out there, wanted to potentially do another United States Open Challenge match. This was interrupted by Ilya Dragunov, who was then and then they were interrupted by the MFTs, which then led to a brawl, which then led to Matt Cardona, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Apollo Crews, who has made his return to WWE television. He then gets involved. This then leads to a 10-man tag team match, 5-on-5, 10-man tag team match. So it's Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Matt Cardona, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Apollo Crews versus the MFTs, and obviously we got the MFTs winning this match. After the match, we got the Wyatt Six. They come out. All they did was what they normally do. They just stood there, stared at the MFTs, and then that's how that ended. Congratulations on the MFTs, and it was a good match. It was actually a good match, despite not being too good. We also got a women's elimination chamber match, chamber qualifying match. Alexa Bliss versus Julia versus Zelina Vega. Zelina got a noticeable presentation improvement last night. She actually came out to her husband, Aleister Black's theme, Root of All Evil, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought, okay, this is definitely what she should be presented as. This is how you should be presenting her. You should be presenting her the way you're presenting her husband, as a dark, menacing, sometimes imposing figure. And I liked it. I liked the presentation. Obviously, she didn't win the match. It was Alexa Bliss who would win the match, pinning Zelina Vega, and it was a good match. We then get a backstage segment with R-Truth and Damian Priest and Nick Aldis. Kit Wilson decided to interrupt and decided to recite a poem. I guess because it's so close to New Year, it was so close to Valentine's Day, which is today. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. We didn't get R-Truth reciting a poem of his own, and it got everybody just cracking up and laughing. And yeah, this was a fun segment. This was a fun segment because R-Truth is
never not funny at all. It's like, when is R-Truth never not funny? Never. We then get Trick Williams versus Ray Phoenix. This match was another very good match. Another very good match. Versus match. Obviously, Trick Williams got the win, and Ray Phoenix and Trick Williams decided to cut a promo on Sami Zayn, and literally, like, I don't know why, but he just felt the need to eviscerate Sami Zayn all in one promo, saying basically everything you could say about Sami Zayn that's saying to put somebody down verbally. We also got a backstage segment with Johnny Gargano, who was sitting on a production grate with his wife, Candice LeRae, beside him, and obviously he's in a bit of a funk because obviously his tag team partner is gone, and these were his words: his tag team partner is gone. I have no championship. Ship. I don't have literally anything. Yeah, and this was obviously more than just about that stupid mask, according to Johnny Gargano, that he had of Axioms that he stole, and which Axiom was able to successfully retrieve last week. And since then, Gargano has been in basically a funk. And every time I've seen a picture of Johnny Gargano on social media, it's of him literally face down, laying face down in somewhere. Well, I guess what you could say is he's going through an identity crisis or midlife crisis, whichever you want to call it. We then get Jade Cargill versus Jordan Grace for the women's championship. This match was good, as I thought it was going to be, but that was mainly due to Jordan Grace being good in this match. Now, at one point, it does look like Jade Cargill may have injured her arm. I don't know if it's going to be now an actual injury confirmed, but so far I haven't heard anything about an injury from Jade Cargill. Hopefully, it's not an injury because we do not need WrestleMania going into even more chaos, chaos and disruption than we already have. Because we already got Seth Rollins injured, which forced WrestleMania plans to be rewritten. Then we got Drew McIntyre's win against Cody Rhodes, winning the WWE Championship, which supposedly forced WWE to redraw WrestleMania plans yet again. And now Braun Breaker seems to be injured and might be out past WrestleMania, which means WrestleMania plans might have to be rewritten again a third time. And we still don't know many of the top matches planned for WrestleMania, although we do have a few matches that are either one match that is obviously locked in and a few matches that are basically locked in but have not been confirmed yet. So, who knows? But this was a good match. Jade obviously won the match. Now we got the women's Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan, was was at ringside for this match, along with Raquel Rodriguez and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. So they provided a nice little distraction from the match. We then get an Aleister Black promo. An Aleister Black promo video package where he called out Randy Orton and said that if Cody Rhodes gets into the Elimination Chamber, qualifies for the Elimination Chamber match, how far is Randy willing to go to become a world champion again? I don't know what that means and why Aleister Black is suddenly turning his attention to Randy Orton, but if this leads to something for WrestleMania, I'm not mad at it because it could be a good match. It could be a very good match. Obviously we got the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu versus Sami Zayn. Earlier, we got a backstage interaction between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn, with Drew McIntyre basically saying that he actually wouldn't mind seeing Sami Zayn win the disqualifying match, and that he hopes that Sami does win. Well, we all know why Drew McIntyre said that, because in this match, we got Drew McIntyre interfering, and I'm guessing it was on behalf of Sami Zayn, because he wanted Sami Zayn to win to qualify, because if Sami Zayn wins the chamber, he can then beat Sami Zayn for the 13th time, and then boast about it even more. And then he can just boast about it even more than he already has. But this obviously backfired. While Drew McIntyre was attacking Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn then hit a haluva kick on Drew McIntyre. This led to Cody Rhodes hitting a crossroads on Sami Zayn for the 1-2-3. Now, I will be the first to admit, did Cody Rhodes need to win this match? No, I don't think he needed to win this match. Did I see him winning this match from a mile away? Yes, I did. Because while I thought all three of these men could be in the chamber match and probably should have gotten their own individual qualifying matches, with all three of them getting into the chamber match, I feel like Cody Rhodes is obviously where we're going. And obviously the only obvious thing for them to do at this point is to just insert solo Jacob Fatu into the mix and just have it stay that way. So that way, even if they don't want to take the title off of Drew McIntyre, they can at least have him pin Jacob at WrestleMania, and it would keep Cody Rhodes from taking the pin, and it would keep the title on Drew McIntyre. That's just what I'm going to say. Well, this was a great live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't know why, but for one point, it seemed like the live chat seemed to go away. I don't know why, but that's interesting. I will see how I can fix that for next week when I go live. But hey, hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I will see you guys next week. Oh, okay, the live stream is back. Okay, the live stream is back. Well, thanks. But oh, hi, Rory. I don't know why, but the live stream wasn't working. The live chat wasn't working at one point, so I was like, wait, what's happening? Now the live stream is working. But hey, you guys are not welcome here anyways, so I think this live stream was actually great because I wasn't able to check the live chat, so I didn't have to worry about all you guys' nasty comments showing up and forcing me into a rage. But I will see you guys next week, and until next time, peace out. Peace out, y'all.